Alrighty, episode 59 of Pokemon Journeys. I'm ready to watch this episode and see Ash get Grookey finally after all this time. Grookey gang, guys. Oh. Oh no.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Oh boy. How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Pokemon Journey series. We're covering today's episode, episode 59, and yeah, as you can tell by the thumbnail, Go caught Grookey. Oh boy. I was really hoping that Ash would get to this Pokemon, but, well, my gut feeling was correct, I guess, and Go was the one that got this Pokemon. That being said, how was the capture handled, and how was the episode overall? Well, before I get onto that, you know the drill. You're new to the channel, you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, guys. Anyways, let's get on to that review. So the episode starts off with Go asleep, and he's having a dream. And he literally dreams that his parents are Rillabooms. Yeah, I'm not kidding, they're Rillabooms. Huh. Yeah, that might be a bit of an issue. But anyways, his mother basically tells him, we need you to take care of little brother here. Here you go. And there's a Grookey on Go, which freaks him out, and he wakes up from his nightmare, quote unquote, only to find out there's an actual Grookey on him, sleeping on him, which causes him to scream and wake Ash up. Anyways, while they try to figure out where Grookey came from, Go, being Go, tries to catch Grookey while it's sleeping. But unfortunately for Go, Grookey is owned by another trainer, and his Rotom smartphone calls him out for it and calls him a thief. Well, Go, you might want to be careful in the future because you might accidentally catch another trainer's Pokemon, so don't be a thief, Go. But the one thing about Grookey over here is that Grookey is very energetic, and as soon as Grookey wakes up, he's immediately playing with Ash and Go. He's super energetic, and he starts beating Ash and Go with his stick, which I thought was kind of funny. He tries to attack Mr. Mime, but Mr. Mime dodges all of its attacks and wears Grookey down, and it runs out of energy. It turns out that Grookey over here runs out of energy when it becomes hungry. Kind of like Ash. So that's why they decided to give it breakfast. And it regains its energy pretty quickly. And yeah, it causes some mischief in the Sakuragi labs, as Koharu was basically getting ready to go off to school, and Grookey shows up and messes up her hair. And eventually this angers Pikachu and Yamper, who are chasing after Grookey, and they end up shocking everyone, which was a pretty funny scene. So Ash and Go are trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we figure out where Grookey came from? He's not showing up in the Lost Pokemon reports, so what do we do? And they eventually come up with the idea of using Yamper to track Grookey's scent. If they can figure out where Grookey came from, they can give Grookey back to its trainer. So they head out, they figure out that Grookey came in through the roof, so they head into town, and they get into a bunch of mischief because, again, Grookey is a very mischievous Pokemon. He messes with a trainer's Dodrio in her yard, no less, and then messing with a trainer's Marowak, and in both instances they have to apologize. They're bowing their head to apologize, and so Grookey's getting them into a ton of trouble, it seems. But once again, Grookey runs out of energy being hungry, so Ash and Go stop to eat lunch. And there's an interesting scene where they see Grookey basically revitalizing some flowers, which seems to be its special ability, which was a pretty neat scene. But anyways, Ash and Go eventually arrive at a shop where Grookey's scent comes to an end. So they run to the shop, and the guy in the shop's like, okay, let's look at some surveillance cameras, and we can kind of figure out what exactly happened, how Grookey ended up here. As it turns out, looks like Pelipper dropped the gotcha machine, apparently just dropped it out of the air, and Grookey, out of all Pokemon that come out of the gotcha machine, Grookey comes out and escapes, and Pelipper doesn't even try to go after Grookey or even see where Grookey's at. It just takes off because Pelipper is pretty terrible here. As we've seen in several episodes, it's not really a very reliable Pokemon, is he? He continuously screws up time and time again, but literally this is what happened. This is where Grookey came from, so Grookey's trainer is Team Rocket itself. Huh. Interesting. But just as they're leaving, Team Rocket shows up, tries to capture Grookey and Pikachu, and Ash uses Farfetch to release them and face off against Team Rocket, who in retaliation call their wonderful Gacha Machine, which spits out one Pokeball, which happens to be empty, and it's the Pokeball that ironically is Grookey's Pokeball. Yeah, Team Rocket themselves are surprised and they're trying to figure out, okay, this can't be the same Pokemon. It just can't be. This is from the Gacha Machine, but I don't know why it's empty. It's not like I'm going to just press the Pokeball here, tell Grookey to return, it's going to come into the Pokeball. And that literally happens. Grookey literally gets recalled back into the Pokeball just like that. So Team Rocket retreat, and as it turns out, Grookey left its stick behind. So Team Rocket take Grookey back with them to their hideout, and Grookey's being mischievous once again. It ends up getting in Morpeku's stash, and Morpeku flies into a rage and attacks Team Rocket. However, Grookey is saddened, missing Go, having bonded with Grookey over the course of that day, and ends up escaping Team Rocket's hideout here overnight. Meanwhile, Go is in bed, thinking about Grookey holding Grookey's stick, and admits to Ash that he misses Grookey, and admits also that it feels empty without Grookey there, laying on his arm. So the next day comes, and Go decides to give Grookey back its stick, because even though Grookey is part of Team Rocket, Go at least feels like he needs to do that, so Ash decides to accompany him. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are freaking out because they realize that Grookey has gone missing, so they head into the city also to go find where Grookey went off to. So Ash and Go end up at the park they were at the previous day, where Grookey revitalized those flowers, and Grookey just so happened to be there. So Go and Grookey reunite, but Team Rocket are also there, and they're not too happy about Ash and Go trying to steal Grookey a second time, allegedly. But Grookey's not too happy with Team Rocket and wants nothing to do with Team Rocket. In fact, Grookey's the one that destroys its Pokeball. So, Jessie and Go try to capture Grookey at the same time. So who's going to capture Grookey? Well, Grookey decides to basically use its stick to whack Jessie's Pokeball back, and it hits Jessie in the face, which allows Go to capture Grookey. And yeah, that's literally how Grookey is caught in this episode. Ash has Pikachu use Thunderbolt and blast Team Rocket off. And there we have it. Go has all 3 Galarian starters. And the episode comes to an end with Grookey at the Sock Rocket Lab bonding with Go's Pokemon, and with Eevee as well, until Grookey turns on mischievous mode and starts messing with Eevee, and Go tries to stop Grookey. Interesting way to end the episode, I must say. Oh boy, this is going to be quite a controversial episode for a long time to come, as this seals the deal when it comes to Ash catching a Galarian starter Pokemon. For the first time ever, Ash is not catching a starter Pokemon for the current generation of Pokemon. And that is wild. There's some things that I thought the Pokemon series would never deviate away from, and this was one of them. I didn't think that they would actually do something like this, but they went ahead and did it. They gave Go all the Galarian starter Pokemon, and yeah, a lot of people are not too happy. Now, I just want to say that I mean, I'm mixed about this myself, but please, in the comment section down below, please be as respectful as possible. I don't want to see fights break out in the comment section down below between people who wanted Ash to have Grookey or Go to have Grookey, or you didn't care whatsoever. I just don't want to see fights going on, so let's be a little respectful in the comment section down below. And just my request, please. Now, I will say the one thing I did like in this episode was Grookey. Grookey and his personality, because wow. I really enjoyed this Pokemon and its mischievous personality. Messing around with everybody, messing with Ash, messing with Go, messing with Koharu's hair. I don't know, I thought it was all funny. And I'm very interested to see the shenanigans this Pokemon gets Ash and Go into in the future. I don't know, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, out of all the starter Pokemon, it probably has my favorite personality so far. I mean, obviously, this is only the first episode we got for Grookey, so he's got more room to grow, but based off of one episode, I'm already really liking Grookey's character and Grookey itself, so hopefully Grookey becomes a powerful ally for Go in the future. That being said, I have a couple of issues with this episode. So, you're telling me that Grookey was a Gacha Pokemon. It managed to be the only Pokemon that got out of the Gacha Machine when Pelipper dropped it. It escapes, Pelipper doesn't notice it because Pelipper is lazy. It just so happens to roam around Vermilion City, and decides to go to the Sakuragi Labs out of any other place in Vermilion City, gets in the Sakuragi Labs, goes in the Ash and Go's room, and sleeps with Go. Seems a bit forced, doesn't it? Yeah, that's kind of how I felt this entire episode. If I'm being completely honest, even though the moments between Go and Grookey were kind of nice, it still felt a bit forced, and it felt like it needed a little bit more room to develop. Because you're telling me, okay, Grookey gets to the Sakuragi Labs, sleeps with Go. Go tries to catch Grookey, but couldn't. So they feed Grookey. Then they try to find Grookey's trainer, which turns out to be Team Rocket. And they're only hanging out with Grookey for like only part of the day. And Grookey suddenly just misses Go and wants to be with Go. I don't know about you guys, but all of this feels really forced, and it just feels like it's like, okay, Go gets Grookey. And so, I mean, think about it. Grookey could have actually been sleeping with Ash, and Ash could have been the one to get Grookey if this was the case. But nope, Go gets it. I don't know. Everything about this just feels forced, and it just kind of cheapens the moment too, because this could have been a big moment, because they've been hyping up Grookey for a long time. Like, they knew that Grookey was a Pokemon that hasn't made its appearance, and it showed up in the Indian a long time ago, and it's now making its debut here. So we've been anticipating this Pokemon's debut, and this is how it's handled? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I almost feel like this needed another episode to flesh this out. They did that with Scorbunny back in episode 4 and 5, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of those episodes, they at least took their time to flesh out Scorbunny, and it eventually bonding with Go. It took 2 episodes, but the two bonded, and look at them. They're best friends pretty much now. Whereas with Sobble and Grookey here, they did it in 1 episode, and especially here, it feels forced, so I'm not gonna lie, I am a little disappointed. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but after all this time and waiting for Grookey to make its debut, and this is how it's handled, yeah, I'm not trying. Look, I'm not trying to be a downer here, but I am a little let down by this, if I'm being completely honest. Alrighty, guys, that's all I got for this episode review. So, even though I like Grookey's personality, yeah, a lot of things in this episode felt really forced, and wasn't really a big fan of it. So, I guess moving forward, I just want to see how Grookey is handled from here on out. I do like Grookey, so hopefully Grookey gets some time to shine in the future. So, if I'm being honest, I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10. In the comment section down below, be sure to let me know what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And just remember to be respectful in the comment section down below. Even if you disagree with me or with somebody else, please be respectful. That's all I ask. Please don't start fights. Just try to be as respectful as possible to one another. So, yep. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.